Welcome to Glorious. This is Ann Cross, and I am so excited today because we have a very special young lady on the show. Many of you, I'm sure, have either been in debt, and some of you probably still are. Well, the lady that I have on the show with me today is a very special person. She's actually my aunt by marriage, and she is also a member of our church, Freedom of Worship Outreach Church. And without further ado, I want to welcome to Glorious none other than Erie James. Hi, Erie. How are you doing?
Blessed.
Good to have you with us today.
Thank you.
All right.
Glad to be here.
Well, praise God. You look beautiful.
Thank you.
I love that hair. That's a new style there, huh?
Yes, it is.
Okay, Minister Erie, you are a member of our church, Freedom of Worship. You've been there now, you and your family for, 14, 15 years? About 15,
something like that.
15 years, ever since we actually started the ministry, you and your family have been with us. You actually shared your testimony a few months ago, sometimes last year, in fact. And I was truly blessed, and many people in the congregation were blessed as well. And it dealt with debt. It dealt with your process of coming out of debt. It dealt with how you began and then where you are now. So I just wondered if you would mind just kind of sharing with everybody out today. Tell me where you started. I remember you said that you were in debt so much because it was just a lifestyle and you really didn't know, and it was your husband that actually got you started. So just share a little bit with us.
Well, for a long time, I would see things that I wanted, and even though I would have money in my pocket some of the time, I would just use a credit card because it was just convenient. And it seemed and appeared to me that almost everybody allowed me to have a credit card, and I would use the credit card. And even though my husband told me not to use one particular card unless we were on vacation, I used it anyway. And I got further and further in debt, and at one particular time I owed almost everybody around the square in Rutherford County.
Now, probably back then there was a lot of people.
It was. I would leave one store and I could almost just go next door and go all the way around the square just about.
And you were like paying bills.
And it was just like every time I got a paycheck, I owed somebody. And at that time I was tithing, but I wasn't giving offerings. And if I gave offerings, it wasn't probably just a little bit here and there. And one day I heard the voice of God tell me that I needed to do things His way. And in order to get out of debt, I was in disobedience, first of all, to God and to my husband, because he had asked me not to have the credit cards and use them so much. And I had to ask God to forgive me, and I asked my husband to forgive me. And after God told me that He would allow me to get out of debt, and He would show me how to get out of debt, and I would have to do it His way. And so basically He told me that I should be able to get out of debt within a certain length of time. And when I heard His voice, I just said, okay, Lord, it was in January of this year. And I said, but by the time school is out, which is in May, I want to have all the credit cards paid off.
Now, about that time, do you know how many you actually had? How many credit cards you had?
It was over 4 or 5, I'm almost certain. And the 4 or 5 credit cards plus any other little bill that would allow me to have credit, I would have credit. And so I began an extensive payment on each bill and everything, and it seemed like I just wasn't going to get out of debt the way I wanted to, and near the end. And so I was in this particular store and I was looking around and I saw some things that I wanted. And I had to make myself get out of the store, because if I didn't, knew that I was going to pull out a credit card and use it. And so I didn't want to do that. So I left out of the store. And when my husband heard me say that, he knew then that I was serious about getting out of debt, in which God allowed me to get out of debt. And when that happened, it was just like something that's just lifted off of me, you know, when I paid the last credit card off and everything, and I was just free. And I have always had a spirit of giving, and God said, you have to do it my way in order to be able to freely give and be able to give whenever He says to give to somebody.
So a lot of the credit card purchases that you made, you were just not spending on yourself. You were also spending on other people.
Other people, or the family, or anybody that, you know, that I just felt like I wanted to give sometime. I would, you know, just go ahead and charge, you know, and not even thinking anything about it until the bill came. And at that particular time, when I was in so much debt, I was not paying it off automatically. That's how I got in so much debt.
Oh, you mean
I wasn't paying, I was just paying the minimum payment sometime, and maybe a little bit over, but by the time they would add the finance charges again, it was just like I hadn't paid anything, you know. So it was just kept going on and on for years, you know. And after I heard from God, and God saw that I was serious, He came in, and I mean, it's just like a different me. I mean, I have money. I had money then, but it's not like I have now. And I have learned through that to just really trust in God, because He said that if we would do things His way, you know, He's promised to have our back, and I don't have to have a backup plan. And if I go in the store now, and if I decide to charge something, by the time I get that bill, or when the bill comes, that bill is paid off. I don't owe them any finances. I had really become a slave to the credit card, and it was stopping my giving. Like I said, I continued to tithe, but beyond tithing, it was almost, you know, I felt like it was impossible. But if I had sought God, He would show me that I could even give more in offerings.
Now, how did that make you feel during that time that you wanted to give, but I'm sure you were probably maxed out in some cases with your credit card debt. So how did that make you feel?
It made me feel sad and depressed a lot of times. I stayed, you know, like in a state of depression off and on, because I would use credit cards really to make myself feel good. But when I got the bill, it wasn't like I was feeling good. You know, it brought me down.
Okay.
You know,
so it gave you a quick
fix. And then after, you know, just like anything else in the world, you get the quick fix, but it doesn't stay long. It doesn't last.
Right. And there are no shortcuts in God. You know, like you say, you know, we've got to learn to do things God's way.